Last night, 45-year-old New Amsterdam resident Anthony Giddens, called Bighead, was stabbed to death by his wife, 43-year-old Anita Hanuman. According to the police, the two shared a rocky relationship. And by rocky, I mean the stupid big man used to beat Shay. But this time, when they were arguing, Giddens whipped out a knife and threatened to stab her. She then ran out the house and Giddens chased after her. A scuffle ensued, but in the end, she disarmed him and stabbed him twice in the chest. She then ran to the central police station and made a report. Giddens died while receiving medical treatment. This morning, 19-year-old Princess Williams appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, charged with attempting to extort $10 million from her ex-boyfriend and attempting to frame him for rape. After the two broke up, Williams sent Kendrick Thomas an audio message accusing him of attempting to rape her and demanding that he pay her $10 million or she'll go to the cops with evidence. She was remanded to prison and will be back in court March the 1st, 2021. Frankly, I hope they throw the book at her. Rape is never something to joke about. Women like her make real victims afraid to come forward. Apparently, Parfait Harmony must be French for armed robbery. Despite having a brand new police outpost, the robberies just keep happening. It's sick. In fact, the latest robbery victims in the community live right next door to the police outpost. According to the family, thieves broke into their yard around 1:30 this morning and stole two large welding tanks valued at $200,000. The family called the police early this morning, but according to the cops, they couldn't reach the place until 10 a.m. The reason for the delay? There was no patrol in the area at the time. Yes, there was no patrol in the area at the time. Despite all the crap Sophia gets, I've never heard something this mad happening there. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale is this 2018 Suzuki Swift RS Sports Edition. It comes with Bluetooth, CD stereo, steering controls, crystal light, mag rims, fog lamps, and much more. Pay cash for $3.6 million, or pay down as low as $720,000 with around $70,000 monthly, and it's yours. Call the WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit their showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Rose Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them Noriko sent you for this sweet deal. On Thursday night, the sergeant in charge of the Blenmont Police Station, Colin White, reportedly shot his common-law wife, Special Constable Shanetta James, at her house in Onderneming, West Coast Police. White allegedly shot James in the neck after she told him that she would like to end the relationship. He then dropped her off at the hospital gate and immediately drove off. James is currently in stable condition at the New Amsterdam Hospital, while White is currently in police custody. This morning, 47-year-old taxi driver Cordell Moore and 50-year-old Ulrich Jordan were charged with trafficking half a kilo of cocaine. Yesterday, Kanu stated that the two were caught on Wednesday in relation to an ongoing probe. They both denied the charges and were remanded to prison until March the 5th. Yesterday, APNU protested the president's speech to the National Assembly, but it seems that after the signs and sloganeering was done, they wanted to go back inside, only to be stopped by the police. Now Harmon is calling on the Speaker of the National Assembly to apologize to them, as according to him, the officers were acting on orders from Nadir. Harmon said if he doesn't get an apology from Nadir, he is going to complain to the UN, CARICOM, the ABC countries, basically everyone and their mother is going to hear about this. There has been no official response from Nadir yet, and I doubt there ever will be. Wrong and strong is how politics go in this nation. Digicel is celebrating their 14th anniversary this month, which means they're shaving off prices. Get the GL3 smartphone for just $14,000, or the GL3 Pro for just $17,500, plus get 30-day Digital Prime bundle when you buy any LTE handset. Offer available at Cellular Plus Digicel stores in the City Mall, Starbucks Square, Massey Providence, and Massey Turkine. Don't miss out! Despite the beating the RONA gave the country last year, the economy grew by 43.5% in 2020. But don't be fooled by the numbers, as the growth in the real GDP was driven by the oil and gas sector. But even this amount was still lower than previously projected. Remember, they were projecting something well over 80%. While the oil might paint a nice picture for the economy, it was reported that the non-oil sectors of the economy, all of them, altogether, it actually contracted by 7.3%. because just about every sector of the economy was hampered by the RONA and, of course, the elections. Now it's time for today's RONA report. Today, the nation recorded 46 new cases. There are now a total of 186 persons dead. There are 7 persons in the ICU and 666 persons in home isolation. Ew, I hate that number. And the total number of known cases in the country is now 8,181. So please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds. And remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. Now, let's take a look at news in the region. Over 500 businesses around Trinidad have announced that they will be closed today as murder victim ANDREA BARRAT is laid to rest. The decision to shut down comes after over 100 demonstrations across the country to highlight violence against women and call for legislators to pass necessary laws to cause it to cease. Barrett was kidnapped on January 2019, and her decomposing body was found in the heights of a repo 1 week later on February 4th. The event was also marked by various marches and candlelight vigils in her honor today. The Jamaican government has rejected Russia's offer to supply the nation with their vaccine. The Homeless Administration has reasserted that it would only proceed with shots approved by the global health authorities, such as the WHO. Nevertheless, the offer is one of several options on the table as the country prepares to receive up to 250,000 vaccines under the COVAX facility in a rollout scheduled to begin late this month. Russia was the first country to declare that its vaccine was ready for market, but that quick approval was viewed by many Western nations as premature. But according to reports, the Sputnik vaccine has an efficacy of 92%, which puts it on par with just about the rest of the big ones. And now for our weird news story of the day. Lulu, an 8-year-old border collie, will be living the good life in Nashville, Tennessee after inheriting $5 million in her owner's will, WTVF-TV reported. Martha Burton, Lulu's caretaker, told the station that Lulu's owner, Bill Doris, was a successful businessman who wasn't married and died late last year. His will states that the money should be put into a trust for Lulu's care. It allows for Burton to be reimbursed for reasonable monthly expenses in the care of Lulu. He just really loved the dog, said Burton, who was friends with Doris and would take care of the dog when he traveled. She says she doesn't know if she could ever spend $5 million on Lulu, but she'll give it her best shot. How's this for a bedtime story? Stupidy Bill spends thousands of dollars on new printer ink. Sensi Bill, on the other hand, refills his empty cartridges at Print for Less for just $1,000. He gets a 6-month, 100% money-back guarantee on every refill. Then the bucket band and the story end. Call or WhatsApp 667-0066 or visit them on Facebook at Print for Less Guyana. Don't be a Stupidy Bill. Moving on to our Uncut News viewers poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So, you give your responses in the comments, and we'll read the best ones in the following episode. Yesterday's question was, seeing as they are supposed to represent the interests of so many citizens, should parliamentarians be allowed to skip Parliament? Sharon Davis said no, they should not skip Parliament. They should be there to safeguard the interests of the people who support them. Well, naturally. Carol Holloway said, an opposition is responsible for the people's interests, just like the ruling party or government. Protesting outside does not serve them or the people they represent any good. How can you give a relevant input into the issue that affects the people if you're outside the parliament? Exactly, Perro. I agree fully. Lloyd Bartholomew said, as torturous as it may be, I believe the opposition party should be in parliament to represent the people. What purpose does walking out serve? And finally, Suresh said, they can probably be allowed a limited number of times to skip Parliament, like 2 or 3 times during the tenure. I mean, well, yeah, if they're sick or something, or if it's an emergency, but not for protesting, that's for sure. So, good answers, people. Before we get to tonight's question, these online shopping places take the miles and pass people a set of money they want per pound of merchandise. You will die when you try to ship parts for your truck. Thankfully, truck parts are already in Guyana at Powered Automotive Truck Spares and Engine Parts at Lot 1161 EE Eccles. They stock spares for DAF, Bedford TM, International Freight Liners, and Cummins engines. Call or WhatsApp 697-0171 or follow Powered Automotive Truck Spares and Engine Parts on Facebook. So for tonight's question, today is Budget Day 2021. So I want to know, what were some things you were looking forward to seeing in next year's budget? Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out on Monday for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying, don't drink and drive, or you'll end up on Monday's episode the hard way. Ha ha! Good night, folks. Hey Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.